Welcome to my car, TCM. I have some errands to run and I plan on filming a wall flip tutorial for you guys today. Yeah, I wanted to try something a little bit different today, see if a bit more of a vlog style tutorial was something that you guys are interested in. So if you guys are and you guys like this type of thing, I'm happy to do more. And if you guys don't like it, still comment in the comment section down below and give me some feedback, because I want my videos to be as entertaining for you guys as possible, and I want you guys to get some value out of it as well. I want you guys to learn something. And while you're at it, if you like and comment and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. At the least, go like the video. It really helps the channel grow. So we're gonna be working on a wall flip today. Now, there's two ways that you can go about this. One of the ways being that if you have a friend that can spot you, that is a really good way to go about it, where it's just like the backflip tutorial, where if you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link over there for you guys to go check that out. Basically, you would have a friend spot you and you would do your wall flip preps the exact same way that you would do your backflip preps. So some of the prerequisites that you're gonna need to know are, you need to learn how to do a wall pop, which I will demonstrate for you guys right now. You don't actually necessarily have to know how to do a backflip before you can do a wall flip, believe it or not. It certainly does help. You don't have to have it standing flat ground. You do need to know how to do a backflip like on trampoline or off of something. The reason being is because the wall flip is much, much easier than a standing backflip. And I know it's kind of like weird to think about that, but it's, in my opinion, it's true. I know a lot of people who can wall flip, but they can't standing backflip flat ground. But having that understanding of like how to do a backflip and what to do with your body in the air is gonna make a big difference. Basically, there are two ways to go about learning your wall flip, okay? One is to have a friend, and one is not with a friend. You know, if you're basically flying solo. Here's how you would go about learning a wall flip. Here's part one, okay? Part one with a friend. So you're going to start your wall flips by having a wall pop solid, and as your foot hits the wall, your arms should be back like Naruto, where my weeb's at, and you're gonna do your run. Now, once your foot touches that wall, then your arms start to drive up to your ears and your knee starts to go with your arms. So as your arms lift, basically it's like this, right? So as your arms lift, your knee lifts, right? So you don't wanna go arms and then knee. You want to pull them both up at the same time, kind of bleeding together, because that's what's gonna get you the best results for your wall flip. You don't have to have the most perfect wall pop to start working on your wall flip. From your wall pop, after you fully extend through your toes and through your knee, you're gonna start your backflip. And from that position, it's literally just a backflip. Now, this is where your friend comes in handy, okay? If you are afraid to commit to the full backflip right off the gate, which is understandable and totally normal, your friend is, just like in the backflip tutorial video, should grab your hips and pull your hips down to your shoulder. Basically, you're just landing on your shoulder and you're not committing to the flip. Now, a few things about this. Once you start getting ready to do the flip, your friend is going to flip you through your hips and catch you landing down. I'm actually gonna make my roommate Zane learn how to wall flip today for you guys. Here with me, I have my roommate and one of my best friends, Zane. He's done a single backflip, like, how long ago? Like
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah, he got it on film and has never done it since. My point is he's a muggle. So I recommend starting on a slanted wall or tree, like this one here. Just like in the backflip video, you're gonna have them jump, set, grab their hips, they're gonna fall into your shoulder, and they're gonna do that a bunch of times until they're comfortable enough to start flipping and doing it on their own. And that's the whole progression. So start with your wall pop. Drive your knee a little bit higher, your right knee. As your arm's coming up, your knee comes up. Yeah, good, good, good. So what's gonna happen now is Zane is going to come and do his wall pop. I'm going to stand right here behind him. I'm going to catch his hips and I'm gonna pull him onto my shoulders, and that's it. He's not doing the flip. He's not grabbing his knees. He's not doing anything else. He's just flopping onto my shoulder, and I'm gonna set him down, just like the backflips. So the point of this is for him to be able to get comfortable with the idea of starting the lean back without actually having to commit to anything. Just like that. So from here, the next step, I'm gonna change up my spotting a little bit because Zane's a big boy. Instead of having my hands on his hips like this, or even on his shoulders to stop him from flipping like I did on the last one, I'm actually going to take I'm on his left, so I'm gonna take my left hand and put it on his lower back. This way I can grab his right hip. And then with my right hand, I'm going to grab his left hip. The reason for this is so I can actively help him flip and support him with my shoulder muscles as opposed to being like this. And once he flips, he's kind of out of my control at this point. So I'm gonna be switching this up. So he's here, I'm gonna hold him onto my shoulder and I'm gonna help flip him down. You wanna do a backflip first to prep the backflip?
I don't think I've done one outside before.
I also don't think you've ever done one outside, but.
So that's never happened. I've never overturned.
Boom, got it, nice. So it's gonna be that same exact thing off of the wall. I just need you to commit to the flip. This is key. Okay, I don't care how strong you are. If you don't commit to the flip, you're not committing to the flip. You're not gonna land if you don't commit, so go. That was the hardest part. You need to flick that foot off of the tree, jump essentially, and then wait to start curling your hips until they're both going. Because it's gonna lead one, but they should both catch up at the same time. Go. Keep your chin down, curl the hips. Go. Yeah, that was so good. You landed on your feet and I was like, oh, he's got it. And then you kept like, and I was like, oh, he doesn't got it. But that was phenomenal. You went up, you flipped, everything was like you're supposed to do. Go. Solid. How's that feel?
You can do it.
Yeah? Get it done. Dunzo! Yes. All right, so that's it. My guy here went from not being able to do a wall flip. He hasn't done backflips since March, like early March, and they were on trampoline. And then before that, he hasn't done a backflip for 3 years. That's it. It's step one is proven, and it works. So if you find a spot, follow the steps like I'd mentioned here, or yeah. Part 2 of this is gonna be a completely different look for a wall flip than part 1 because the mechanics of it are slightly different. Part 2 is a very cheat way of doing a wall flip. Reason being is because it's less of like a wall flip and more of like a wall tap flip where you're just kind of tapping the wall so it looks like you're doing a thing, but it does lead into wall fulls, which is the way that I'm able to do my waffle. Just like a wall flip, there are 2 ways to do a waffle, but I'm not gonna get into that because this is a wall flip tutorial. If you guys wanna learn how to do a waffle, then comment down below and I will make a waffle tutorial. Anyway, so part 2 is more of a swing gainer, wall flip, backflip thing. Here's what I mean, okay. So I start with my cheat gainer or my swing gainer. And from there, I literally just swing my leg, keep my eyes on the wall, tap my foot, and let myself do my wall flip. And I know that's really weird. So here are some progressions for that, okay? If you don't have your cheat gainer, I recommend you start there, which I haven't made a cheat gainer tutorial yet, so I can't link you to anywhere. You're gonna start by doing your J-step. If you don't know what a J-step is, there's a link right up there to my cork tutorial, and you're gonna hunt through that thing, that bad boy, for the J-step and what it is. You're gonna start by swinging your leg and doing a really weird cartwheel. The bright side about this is that this transfers directly into your wall flip. Basically from this cartwheel position, this really weird cartwheel position, your whole goal is to just take it higher and higher and higher over the whole thing. And hopefully when you're done with this version of a wall flip, you'll be able to do 2 different skills, not just one. You'll have a cheat gainer or a swing gainer, depending on how off axis you make it. And you'll also have a wall flip. From this awkward cartwheel position, I want you to start to snap both your feet down together a little bit faster every time, and try to minimize the time that your hands are on the floor without your feet. And then eventually you want to minimize the time that your hands are on the floor, period. Because the faster you can get your hands off the floor, the closer you're gonna be to doing your wall flip in this version of a wall flip. Part 2 of this wall flip tutorial, the second way to learn is with a cheat gainer. And if you don't know how to do a cheat gainer, that's totally fine. Again, same exact rules apply. You don't necessarily need to learn how to do a cheat gainer to be able to do this type of wall flip, but for different people, this will be easier. Like I said, for me in the car, this is a much easier variation of a wall flip for me than the way that Zane just did it. So the way we're gonna start is we're just going to swing our leg and do just that. Easy enough? Great. Once you get a hang of that, and you'll probably skip through that step really fast. From there, you're gonna actually start doing that awkward cartwheel that we started talking about, right? So instead of keeping it really low, you're gonna try to get it above your hips and above your hips and above your hips. And then once we get to that point, then we're gonna start this awkward cartwheel thing. So we're gonna go swing to awkward cartwheel. And from there, once you get that down, you're gonna try to snap both of your feet down at the same time instead of landing one foot at a time. So. Just like that. And I know it looks awkward, and it kind of is, but that's okay. From there, once you get that down, once again, we're gonna move to a slanted wall with this second variation. It may be easier, depending on the person, to do it on a flat wall. I know for me personally, I prefer to do it on a flat wall, but for the general population, I think a slant wall will be a little bit easier. We're gonna start by swinging, so we're gonna swing our leg up, tap. So instead of doing our wall pop, that's actually gonna be our variation. So once again, swing. From here, we're going to start to do our awkward cartwheel again. So, and you can kind of already see how this turns into a wall flip really easily. So notice how I got both my hands down and I tried to snap both of my feet back down to the floor. From this point, once you get both of your feet onto the floor, we're trying to minimize time on the floor with our hands and increase height. So I'm gonna start to touch the floor and pull my hands away as my feet are going towards the floor if I can. If you can't, not a big deal. Just try to minimize the amount of time that your hands are on the floor by themselves. So if you have hands and feet on the floor, that's great. If you just have hands, that's what you wanna minimize. Both feet get snapped down, and now we're trying to maximize the height. Now we're gonna start to add the tuck. From the tuck, this is pretty much your wall flip. So at this point, you're gonna reach a huge gap, right? So this gap is gonna be from safe and able to do the progressions to having to muster up enough courage to do the flip without your hands being on the floor. And this is gonna be a tough step, so don't feel discouraged if you can't get it right away, but go back to the progressions, make sure you have those down, and then come back to this one. Here's the entire wall flip. There we go. I didn't tuck at all though. I just kind of, to the tucked version. There we go. Nice. That is how you do a wall flip. There are two variations to it. Like I said, you can do it with your left foot or your right foot. It doesn't matter which one you do. Zane used his left, I used my right. I can also use my left, but I prefer my right. They offer different looks to them. Most people who tend to do double wall flips tend to do it the way Zane learned it. People who double wall twist, double waffle, tend to do it the way that I do it. That being said, none of that is concrete. People do it in all different ways. I've seen people do double wall flips or double waffles the way Zane learned it, and I've seen people do double waffles or double wall flips the way I do them. If you enjoyed the tutorial, make sure you comment down below, give us a thumbs up. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. We do release videos every Saturday at 11 a.m. Also, comment down below and tell Zane, good job, because again, it was his first time doing wall flips. I'm not like capping you guys or anything, like no cap. Did I use that properly? I'm not lying, is what I'm trying to say. So it's his first day out. I literally pulled him out at like 5:30 and I was like, hey, help me do this thing, help me do this tutorial. He was like, yeah, sure. So he came out to help out with the wall flip tutorial, not having any wall flip skills under his belt. So thank you, Zane. And don't forget to send us your videos of your wall flips if you need help or if you want some specific advice on anything. Just send it to our Instagram, which is @TheCollectiveMovements, and we are happy to help.